All right, we're going to start our first project in VisualBasic.net for CIS 212 online class. Hopefully you've already done what was required of you before you get to this point, which is to download your data files from Blackboard. I went through in the welcome video and to download and install Visual Studio 2015 Community Edition. If you haven't done that, you need to stop this video right here and go ahead and get that out of the way because it's going to take some time and you have to have that. All right, first things first, let's go to File Manager. And of course, your devices will look different than mine. That's fine. I've got a lot of stuff on this little laptop here. I want to create a directory or folder, if you will, called CIS212. That's where we're going to put all of our projects. All right. Now, I like to put my data files in here as well. You don't have to. You could unzip your data files into somewhere else, or you can put them here. If you put them somewhere else, you can just copy and paste them here, just so they'll be easier to get to. And this is our excuse me, our projects directory. All of our projects 1 through 11, or however many we decide to do. We may do more, we may do a few less. Doesn't just have to see how it goes. This is where we're going to build them using Visual Studio. All right. The first project we're about to build is just a little simple application to get you acclimated to this environment, or to begin to do that. It's you know, anytime you create a Windows app in Visual Studio, regardless of the language, unless it's C++, and that's a little different. If it's C# or Java or Visual Basic, it's going to generate what we call code behind, and that's what creates all this stuff for you. In the old days, like in C++, we had to wire all this stuff together and create it ourselves directly from the Windows API. So this is much easier, much quicker, and much more productive. It takes care of a lot of that stuff for you. So just be aware that code is there, and for now, stay away from that. It'll tell you it's Windows code. You don't need to be messing with that because you can destroy a project really quickly that you have put a lot of work into. So just for now, just stay away from that. So we're going to have a form object. Everything's an object, okay? And we're going to have 2 button objects on the form, and I'll show you that. So let's get started. I've already cranked up Visual Studio. If this is the first time you cranked it up, you may want to pause the video because it's going to take a little bit of time. However, we're going to assume you're with me, and we're going to go up here to the File menu, click New, slide over. Now I'm using a touchpad, which I did test, but all my USB ports are broken except for the one the headphones are plugged into. So there you go. Project. And this is going to create a solution. All right. Notice over here we have the Solution Explorer. A solution can have 0 to many projects. Typically, it's just 1 for what we're doing. But when you first start it, it'll just put like whatever you tell it to create as far as the project goes. Regardless of what the book tells you, we always want to create a project with a number associated with a chapter. So this is project 1. The next one will be project 2. And I don't think you're going to need any data files for the projects. You will for the book chapter work, but not for the projects because we're starting from scratch. I've tried to pick those. Now notice the last language I selected was Visual C#. We don't want to use C#. We want to use Visual Basic. If you select one and then go to another, you can always go down here to other project types, and it'll show you all of the ones that there are. You can set it to select the same one every time. I don't do that because I teach multiple languages. All right, we want to do a Windows Classic Desktop. Okay. Let's see, WPF. Let's do Windows Form App. Now notice there's a default name here and a default directory. You never want to use default for anything in my classes. I detest that. I have a whole standardization for naming objects, and if you go to Student Resources, you'll see that. The book does it as well, maybe a little bit different. It doesn't matter to me which one you use, as long as you don't leave the default name in there. You'll lose points for that. So I'm going to start you out that way right now. First thing you want to do is change the name of this solution. Now notice you've got name and solution. The solution name will track to what you put in here. Now if you need to pause the video to absorb this, you can watch it more than once. That's a good idea. I'm going to call this Project 1 because that's what it is. Next one will be Project 2 and so forth. Notice the solution name picked that up. If you go to Browse, we've got to tell it where to put it. Well, we just created some directories for that. Now you can put yours on a jump drive, whatever you want. I'm putting mine on like I say, I all my USB ports are gone. So there it is, 212 projects. It will take this entire project, put it under the projects directory, and call the outermost folder project 1. And then when you get ready to zip it, I'll show you how to do that. So all you're doing here, don't change the folder name because it's already set. You're just telling it where to put it. It says select folder, okay? So you've got Windows Forms app. You've got project 1. It says this should be checked. That should be by default. So we're ready now. Click OK, and it should build our project for us. It may take a few minutes, and it is. Creating project 1. I'm going to pause this real